mean, the flame is horizontal. I'm holding my hand right above it, and I can't feel heat because it's blowing away. Look at those teeth. So what that's called? This is a new species. Oh my god, this was
That's a big brown trout.
Alright, so we are going to be just talking about some of the fish that my brothers caught. And we have actually caught some pretty impressive fish. They're all really awesome and have pretty good stories, at least I think so. So the first one up is that smallmouth, the 4-pounder that you caught up in New York.
So this is river near us in New York, and there's like a old abandoned building, like kind of in the river. Like there's like some of it sticking out. So I was casting a jerkbait by the structure, and it came out of nowhere and hit it, and I fell while fighting it, which was crazy. And then I got it in, and half the lure was in its mouth, and the other half got stuck in my shoe because it was flopping. So I was hooked, and the fish was hooked. So that was crazy, but it was just still an awesome fish to catch.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome. You almost got pulled in the water, just about. Alright, next one up is that huge buckenmouth, the 3-pounder or whatever. Probably more than 3 pounds.
It's like a 4 or 5 pounder. So there's this private pond up in New York, and it's just got a huge fish, just 8-pound bass, 5-pound bass, 4-pound bass. It's just loaded with huge fish. It's also got some big catfish in there. But there's just a nice weed bank that we cast on with some topwater frogs, and they just like jump out of the water and they just nail topwaters. So he was a really fun one to catch.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, next one up is that bullhead.
Alright, so we've been,
Yellow bullhead.
well, not anymore, but for like 5 years we were trying to catch a catfish. We wanted to catch one so bad. And we fished so many different lakes. But at my aunt's lake, the closest lake to home, to our house, we didn't try there for like 5 years. Finally we did it. It's like 2 minutes away from our house.
And we catch like 10
We
bullheads.
caught like 10 bullheads.
And this is just one of the yellow bullheads.
Yeah, and it was a nice size, but it was one of our first catfish.
We also caught one out of Lake Apacon. After this in Lake Swannanoa. But we ate that one, and I mean, I don't like fish, but what did you say about
really
it?
Good.
Really good.
Nice and
Alright.
tender. It's got nice flavor.
And they're obviously much smaller than some other catfish, but they seem to fight great, and I mean, we're
They're
happy
fun to
with them.
catch. They're really fun to catch.
Next up is this crazy trout that you caught.
Alright, so this was my first trout ever fishing at a stream by my aunt and uncle's house. And on a little little spinner. And they were sitting in a little deep hole, a couple trout, and he just came out and hit it. And it was a really awesome fight. And it was awesome to catch.
Yeah, I remember that. That was awesome.
Awesome colors on him, too.
Now this huge 7-pound catfish.
Alright,
That was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. So this is a little local pond across the high school. Super small pond, like tiny. And it holds ginormous catfish. I went there a couple times. We caught a 3-pounder, 5-pounder, and I went there again with my friend. And with hot dogs, we were using some hot dogs with circle hooks, and we casted it out there. We were waiting to have the rods on the side of the pond, and all of a sudden my line starts going under. I'm like, oh my god, I got one. And then my rod starts getting pulled in. Oh, I grabbed the rod, and it was a nice big catfish, 7 pounds.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Tank.
Alright, so let's see this. Now this is a pond just right across from the high school. It's a small pond, but for some reason it holds a really nice catfish. And the next one up out of the same pond is an albino catfish. Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
What,
so-
it's like 1 in 20,000 chance? of
Yeah,
catfish?
so 1 in 20,000 chance of an albino catfish being bred. So there's this kid, local fisherman, that fishes at that pond sometimes, and he had an albino catfish on his Instagram. So we thought they were in there, hoping that it didn't die yet. But we were catfishing again, me and my friend, and all of a sudden my rod starts going in. I picked it up, and there's like a red catfish. I'm like, whoa, it looks red because the water's stained. And it was the albino. It was so cool. It's got like pinkish eyes, a little tint of pink in its fins. It was still a nice catfish. It was like 3 pounds, but it was so cool to catch. The white looks so cool on catfish.
It's pretty cool. Oh my god. This 21-inch brown trout out of the Delaware.
Alright,
We have a video of that if you want to watch it, by the way.
So we wanted to fish at the Delaware late fall. Some of it was frozen. We went to our first spot. It was frozen. So we were driving, and we just found a random pull-off on the road with a little hiking trail. So we went off. We walked down. My dad tied a rope around me because he gets crazy near the ice. He doesn't want me to fall in. But I was casting a jerkbait right along the... So, like, some of the bank was frozen, so I was casting right along the ice. And all of a sudden I see this huge flash just come out and nail a second cast on a big jerkbait. And we didn't have a net or anything, so I laid down, gave my dad the rod, and I grabbed the trout. And I was so excited because that was my first ever brown trout, and it was a giant.
Yeah, that's an awesome story. I mean, I was there for that, and you have it on camera. That's such an experience. You'll never have that again.
Definitely check out that video if you haven't yet.
Definitely once in a lifetime fish. Next up, this 1 pound crappie that you got out of the bucket mouth lake.
Yeah, same pond that I caught that big bass in, the largemouth. I was casting a topwater popper, and I thought I had a small bass on, but it was a giant crappie on a topwater popper. You can see it hanging out of the right side of its mouth there. It was just huge. I mean, we didn't get a weight on it. We don't know what it is, but that was a big crappie.
Yeah, that was insane. That lake holds tons of crazy fish. I don't know what happened there.
It's super deep too. It's like 60 feet deep, 50 feet deep.
We live up in New York. We live in New Jersey, but we have a cabin up in New York. And that pond, there's a little creek that goes down on a very steep valley, and then they dammed it up. So they made the dam 62 feet tall. So right off that dam, it's 62 feet deep.
It's deep. Like, it drops off super steep by a bank. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if lake trout could survive in there. I mean,
yeah,
that's deep. It can hold.
My dad caught
fish.
a 6-7 pound catfish in there. I think it was a channel cat.
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to get a picture for you, but don't count on it. So, the next fish, that's an awesome lake. That's probably my favorite lake ever. So we've been ice fishing lately because the lake's just froze. It just melted, but we got into ice fishing, and we have a lot of cool ice fishing fish. So the first one up is this huge pickerel that you caught.
Yeah, so me and my friend have been going on a local lake and using some tip-ups and jigging, obviously. But with some live shiners. So we're just jigging, and all of a sudden we look over and the flag's up. It's the most exciting feeling ever, just seeing the flag up, and then you run over there and you see the spool spinning super fast. It's just the coolest thing ever, but it fought super good. It was pulling line, finally got it up, and it was a giant. And as I'm reeling up, another tip-up goes up, so we get that one, take a pic, throw it back, and then we have to go to get another one, but it's crazy. That was a big fish.
And if you enjoy this ice fishing, we have a 3-part playlist so far of this. I mean, what he's talking about, you can see that in real life. All of it happened. It's pretty insane. So next up, I'm just going to show you them all because they're kind of all just grouped together, but I'll flash them on the screen. That pickerel, big panfish, sunny.
See, first I'm going to start with the perch. We've been catching big perch on the live shiners, which is pretty cool, and they're big. They're like fat perch too. And so I caught a couple the first day, and then the second day I caught this giant perch. It was crazy. It fought like a pickerel. It was so big. It fought crazy hand lining it. And it was really cool and really nice colors. I think it was like seven bar perch, 7-bar percheroo. Edit that out. And then I was just jigging a little jig with a little like scented gulp minnow on it. And so I left my rod in the hole so I could go check out something else. And I looked, and we were screaming. My dad was screaming. He was like, "Oh my God, look at the rod!" My rod was like bending in half in the hole, and I run over, and I had a huge bluegill on. It was the biggest thing ever, and it was just fun to see something like a bluegill that big, because that was definitely my biggest bluegill.
Check out Ice Fishing Part 3 if you want to see all that. That was insane. Alright, so that's pretty much it. You saw all our perches, pickerels, sunnies.
What about the rock bass?
The rock bass, I already showed you that.
Did we do the rock bass?
We did. Here, I'll show you again.
I don't remember talking about Lake George.
Talk about the rock bass again. Here, check out this rock bass.
Alright, so that was my first rock bass. We were just catching sunnies off a little cliff in Lake George, and with worms. And in a little deeper pocket, there was a bunch of rock bass that came out. I didn't even know there was rock bass until I caught one. And their eyes are so cool, nice red eyes. They look like a warmouth sunfish. Yeah, they look like a mix between a sunfish and a bass.
We put 2 split shots on, and then the hook and a worm, and we were actually able to swim with the rock bass.
You could see him. It was really cool.
It was right off our campsite, so we were swimming, and that's pretty cool. That's
next time we go to Lake George, we're gonna be making a video there. Maybe even do some spearfishing there.
Yeah,
you can snorkel. You'll see like big bass, sunfish, rock bass, obviously. But you'll see a video on that shortly.
Yeah, there's also smallmouth there, I believe. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos. Thank you for watching.